Let me start the class. So, like, so in this course, right? So in this course, mainly, we are covering Tableau plus SQL, Tableau plus SQL. So Tableau plus SQL. So SQL means we will be using this. So it is a language actually. So it is a database language. So database language, and so as we discussed, right? So we'll try to cover overly Python and if possible Power BI. Power BI, I'll take only one or two sessions on Power BI if possible. If not, we'll ignore this one. So, okay. And when come to the Tableau, right? So when it comes to Tableau, we'll cover Tableau desktop, Tableau server. So these two are main tools actually. So we have to learn. Uh, so we have to learn Tableau desktop 100% or at least 90%, and Tableau server 30% is enough or 25% is enough. Okay, and we have one more tool which is called Tableau Prep. So Tableau Prep is a new tool actually. So Tableau Prep is a new tool, like it is like ETL tool. So it is not used for the development actually. So mainly we will use Tableau desktop and Tableau server only. Tableau Prep is a new tool actually, so which is introduced 3 to 4 years back, but we don't use this tool in real time more frequently. For example, if I say 100 projects, I can use this tool only in 1% of the projects only. Out of 100, only one project is using this tool. So we can completely ignore this tool. But to give you some idea, I'll tell you what we can do with this tool. So there are some things which are not possible with the Tableau desktop. In that case, we will go for this Tableau Prep tool. Okay. Ideally, we will not use this tool in real time most of the cases. And all these tools are licensed tools actually, licensed tools. And apart from these tools, we will be having free tools also there. So for example, if I go for this, this is our website, so we can navigate through this website for notes. So under Tableau tools, right? So these three are the tools which are used, which are licensed tools. So these are the tools which we can use for free trial versions actually, not trial versions. We can use these tools for free lifetime. Okay, but we have some limitations in all these tools. So because of that reason, we don't use all these tools in real time. Okay, in real time we will use only these three licensed tools only. Now, when come to the SQL, right? So in the SQL, we will be trying to cover most of the things, so which is more than enough for us to work in the real time. So if you are given a Tableau developer role, right? So along with that, we have to perform some SQL things also. But here we will discuss more than enough things like we will be using creating tables. So I don't want to go into detail for now, common table expressions and all those. So it is a language actually. So it is a SQL queries. So we'll cover most of the things. Don't worry about this one. Okay. Now we'll come to Tableau. So in Tableau, I said like we will be using Tableau desktop, right? So first we will see why do we use Tableau desktop and why do we go for Tableau Okay, sorry, just give me a second. Okay. So when come to Tableau, right? So mainly we will use Tableau desktop and Tableau server. So why do we use Tableau desktop? Mainly for is we will use Tableau desktop mainly for designing dashboards. Okay, designing dashboards with data. So we have some data. So we have some data is there. So using that data, we will be designing dashboards and all those with the Tableau desktop. So we will use Tableau desktop for completely for development purpose. Development purpose. So when I say Tableau desktop, so it is a tool which we have to install in our local system. Install in local system. Okay. So Tableau desktop is a tool. We have to install this tool in our local system. For example, you are using your laptop or desktop, right? You have to download this tool into your local system. Then we have to connect to the data, and then we have to design the dashboards. Okay. So completely development purpose. So assume that I developed a dashboard. So once I develop a dashboard, what I will do generally, for example, I have some Excel file here. So what I can do, this Excel file is in our local system. So what I can do, I can save this Excel file in my local system. So assume that this is a dashboard which I am saving in my local system. Then if you develop a dashboard and if you save the dashboard in your local system, then how the user who sits in the US location, UK location, or anywhere in the world, right? How they can access this dashboard which you have developed and saved in your local system, but how the users across the world can access this dashboard which is in your local system, they cannot access, right? So because of that reason, we go for Tableau servers. So what we do simply, we'll design a dashboard, and instead of saving this dashboard in your local system, we save dashboards in Tableau servers. Save dashboards in Tableau servers. So once you save the dashboards in Tableau server, right? So which is called publishing dashboards. We have to publish our dashboards to the Tableau server. So once you save your dashboards to the Tableau server, right? Now using this server, any person, any user in the world can log into this dashboard and they can access the data or they can access the dashboards. Now we'll simply see what is the meaning of server in general. We don't go for Tableau server for now. So I told you like why do we use Tableau server means we'll design a dashboard using Tableau desktop, and if you save this dashboard in your local system, users cannot access across the world. So we publish these dashboards to the Tableau server. So any user in the world can log into this Tableau server and they can access these dashboards. Now, in general, instead of saying Tableau server, we'll see what is the meaning of server actually. So for example, I go to a Google Chrome. I'll simply type gmail.com, right? So anyone can go to this Google Chrome and they can simply type gmail.com and they can access the Gmail server. So Gmail is a server which can be accessed anywhere in the world. Similarly, I'll simply type icici.com and I can log into this server. So icici.com it is a server which is uh, which is owned by ICICI. So ICICI will put some data in the this ICICI.com server so that anyone can log into the server and they can access the data. So that is the meaning of server. Server means servers can be accessed anywhere in the world. Not only these two, whatever you search in the Tableau, right? For example, I'll simply say tableau.com. You see, I can see this page in the Tableau when I type simply tableau.com. So all this is the data which is already published by Tableau server sites, Tableau people actually. So whatever the data they put in this server, right, we can see that data only. So that is the meaning of server. Whatever you are browsing in the Google Chrome, right, using internet, right, those are nothing but all those are servers. So when you put something in the server, anyone can access those information by logging into that server. Sometimes we have to log into the server. Sometimes without logging into the server, we can access the data. So that is the settings they can do to their servers actually. So that is the meaning of a server. So using the Tableau desktop, which is we have to install in our local system, and we have to design the dashboard using the data. And once you develop the dashboard, if you put that in your local system, no one can access. Of course, you can send those dashboards through email, but that is not the right way. So after designing the dashboard, we can publish the dashboard into the Tableau server, so anyone can access to that data. So mainly, why do we use the Tableau desktop? Means we use Tableau desktop for the development purpose, And why do we use the Tableau server? Means to share the workbooks, right? To share the dashboards, we will use the Tableau servers. Now we'll come to the Tableau prep tool bit later. Now we'll go bit in detail about, sorry, not in detail. We'll go about brief about SQL. And I said like Tableau desktop, we design dashboard using data, right? Okay. Now we will learn what is the meaning of data and where we use the SQL actually. Okay. Forget about the SQL actually. So let me discuss about what is the data. Okay. What is the data? So anything is data actually. So I sell, for example, I have an Amazon website. So I'll purchase some product, right? I buy a cell phone. I buy any product in the Amazon website. So that is, so for example, you have created a account in the Amazon website, right? Amazon app, right? So you bought some product there. Then what the Amazon will do actually? What the Amazon will do is Amazon is trying to store your name, date of birth, what is the product you bought from the Amazon, and and which date you bought the product, and from which region you bought the product, and what is the sales amount, what is the total amount you spend on that product, and what is the profit they got from the sales you made. Okay, so when you bought some product from the Amazon, right, they will be trying to store all this information. Of course they will store our phone numbers also. Because of this reason, right, when you install your Amazon app in your mobile phone, and if you are trying to log in, if you are trying to log into this Amazon app, right, they will be asking you your phone number, and they'll try to send the OTP to this number actually. So once you log into this Amazon app, then what you can see your name and what are the products you bought from this Amazon earlier, like, right, and which date you bought the product line, all those details you can see. Why? Because once you bought any products from the Amazon, they will try to store all this data. I can say everything is a data actually. So all this is nothing but a data. So this is one type of data that Amazon can use. Now, now where the Amazon is going to store this data actually. So to store the data, right, in real time, we may use Excel file, we may use CSV files, and we may use servers also. Like for example, I can use Oracle database, DB. I can use Oracle database. I can use Amazon or Redshift. So all these are the databases which will store the data. Okay. So all these are the databases, or all these are the so okay, all these are the databases which will store the data. Okay. So I'm just simply saying here, Amazon is one of the client. Amazon is one of the client which will store the data in these databases, and they want to analyze this data actually at the later point of time. They want to analyze this data. So I will see a bit later how to analyze the data. So, but as of now, Amazon is one of the project or client which will use all this data. At the later point of time, they want to analyze this data using a tool called Tableau. They want to analyze this data using a tool called Tableau. So when I say data, right? So this is the data we use for dashboard designing. Okay. So what we do simply from this Tableau desktop, we will be connecting to this data and we'll design a dashboard like that. Okay. So assume that in real time, Amazon is one of the client which is having the data in their own in their all these databases. Okay, Amazon is one of the client, and I can say next SBI. SBI is also one of the type of the client we will get in the real time. So they also use our customer name. They will also use our date of birth. They will also store our account number, right? So why? Because in this account number only we can store our amount and all those. So it will store how much of amount you have credited. Okay, credits. They will show credits and they will show debits also. Okay. So for example, every month they are going to send the some account statements, right? So you can see all the amount credited, amount debited, and all those things, right? So this is one of the client, and SBI also uses any one of the database, maybe Amazon Redshift they will use, they may use Oracle database, they may use CSV files, they may use Excel files. So they may use any one of these databases to store the data. So if you go to the project like SBA also, right? They also want to analyze this data actually at the later point of time. They want to analyze this data. So to analyze the data, we have to use the Tableau tool. You can analyze the data using Tableau tool. Of course, we can analyze the data using SQL, Python, Power BI, and all those tools also. But as we are learning about Tableau, right, I'm just telling you about this Tableau. Okay, all this is data. And one of the simplest example I want to show is like the Amazon and SBI, we have more clients actually in real time. We have pharma clients and we have manufacturing clients. So all these people use the data, and of course pharma and manufacturing. So when I say manufacturing, right, for example, you want to buy a car. When you go to the like BMW or something, right? So they will take your order, and after some time, they want to deliver the car. If you go today and if you ask for a car, right, they won't give you today itself. They will they will take order from you today, like that is the order date. They will take order date from you, and they will store the delivery date also. Okay, they will store the delivery date also. Now what the managers will do, so if you go for any, we have managers also, right? So what these managers will do is they will try to follow up on which date we want to deliver a particular car or a product. They will, so these managers want to analyze this data actually. So for example, assume that on a particular date they want to deliver 40 cars. So to analyze, they simply store this data. Later point of time, they want to analyze this data actually. So they want to deliver these 40 cars in next week. Okay. So for this type of analysis, they will use the Tableau tools. Okay. And one of the most like understandable data by us is like educational business. So we frequently listen like educational businesses, like for example Sri Chaitanya, Narayana. We have more educational institutions are there. So they also use these Tableau tools. Okay, okay. Now, as I'm keep on telling you that all these clients will store the data, and at later point of time they want to analyze the data. Actually, I'm just keep on telling that we have to analyze the data using Tableau. So let's see how to analyze the data using Tableau. Why it is possible to analyze the data using tools like Tableau, Power BI, and these tools only. Let me tell you some examples here. So let me take educational business actually. So in educational, so I always try to take the education data. So when I go to the education, right, what is the information we will be having actually? So we will be having student data, and we have how many marks each student got, and what are the different type of subjects we will be having, and all those, right? So don't think that this educational business is a very simple business, but you don't believe or not, most there are some big educational institutions are there. They are using Tableau, Power BI, even Python also for their data analysis. I When I come to the software, like I don't know, like I don't think that these educational institutions are using Tableau or Power BI like that. But at the later point of time, when when my friend got the project on Tableau for a Narayana Sitatana colleges, right? At that time, I come to know like these people also will use the Tableau to analyze the data. Okay, not only about student name. Okay, not only about this. Don't think about like not only student data, marks, subject, and they have to pay the fees also, right? So how many students pay the fees, and how many students still have to pay the fees, and what is their address? Like all those details will be stored by these colleges. And not only this information, and we have some faculty also, right? We have some faculty also in the colleges, right? So what the college will do, the college management will do is how many faculty they have, how much salary they are paying to those people. Okay, how much salary they are paying to these people, like, so they will try to analyze this type of data also. Okay, like it is coming under expenditure. Okay, so this is coming under expenditure, like how much amount of money they are spending, and how much amount of fees they are collecting from the students, and how much what is the revenue of those people. Okay, so we have all this data in real time. For all these type of things, they will use the Tableau tool. Okay, now I want to take some sample student data, and how the how we can analyze this data using Tableau, you will see. So as of now, when I say we will use the Excel, CSV files, Oracle database, Amazon, so like that we have hundreds of databases are there. So but for now, for this analysis, for this class, I will try to take the Excel file, and I will take some sample student data here, and we'll see how to connect to that Excel file from the Tableau, and we'll see how to analyze the data. Okay. And one more important thing I have to remember here is like, this is the most important thing. When I say data, we have two types of data. Okay, we have two types of data. So which is a row level data, and second one is called aggregated data. You may hear like aggregated data. Uh, so when I say aggregated data, right? So the other type of data is like row level data, or we can call this data also like disaggregated data. Okay, disaggregated data. So we have two types of data mainly: disaggregated data or row level data, and aggregated data. Now, where we have this disaggregated data or row level data? Simple. Whatever the data we have in the databases, whatever the data we have in the databases, that is nothing but disaggregated data or row level data. Okay? Databases, for example, I can say Excel file or CSV files or MySQL database. So whatever the data we have in the databases, that is nothing but a row level data or disaggregated data. And what is the meaning of aggregated data? So what do we do with this aggregated data? Means we'll try to analyze the data by aggregating the data. Okay, simply, uh, what is the meaning of aggregated data? Means we'll we'll aggregate the non-aggregated data using a tool called Tableau tool. Okay, so using Tableau, we can aggregate the data. Very simple. We have a non-aggregated data or disaggregated data or row level data, which we have in the database like Excel file or MySQL databases. And we aggregate this non-aggregated data, disaggregated data using Tableau, which is called aggregated data. Okay, so mainly we have two types of things here. First, we should have database, which is a role, which is having disaggregated data or row level data, and we will use Tableau to aggregate the data. And once you aggregate the data, right, then we'll analyze the data. After aggregating the data, then only we can analyze the data. Without aggregating the data, we cannot analyze the data. Okay. So if you think that without aggregating the data, we can still analyze, right? Then we can go for databases only. What is the need of using a Tableau? Okay. So once you aggregate the data, then we'll analyze the data. Okay. So then we analyze. After aggregating the data, then we'll analyze the data. We'll see one by one. No. Okay. So first, let me take a Excel file and let me take a non-aggregated data, row level data. Okay. So let me go to the tab Excel file. Let me take new Excel file here. Just give me a second. So, so the simplest thing we can remember, whether it is aggregated data or row level data, means whatever the data we have in the databases is nothing but a disaggregated data or row level data. So Excel is one of the one type of databases. So in this, I'm taking the student data actually. So in the student data, I'm taking student name and subject here, and here I'm simply taking marks here. Okay. So assume that assume that I'm just taking my name here. So Venkat is the person. Venkat is a student. This student got 70 marks in the Telugu subject. Okay, we have different subjects will be there. So this person got 70 marks in the Telugu subject, and the same person got in English like 64 marks. Just just take it round figure, 60 marks. And the same person, assume that in Hindi, okay, he got 84 marks. So let's say 80 marks. And so we have lots of students in the classroom, right? So let's take one more person here, Ravi. In Telugu, he got like 50 marks. And the same Ravi person, and maybe in the English, he got like 35 marks, just pass marks. Okay, like that. So I'm just taking the data in a single sheet. So and let's save the data. Let's save the Excel file in our local system. So I'm just trying to save this Excel file in my local system, like B31. I'm just giving the name for this Excel file as B31 sample data. Okay, I'm just saving this file in my desktop, in my local system desktop. Okay, now assume that this is a Excel file. In the sheet one of this Excel file, the sheet one of this Excel file, we have the student data. Assume that I have one more sheet. I have one more sheet where I have address of the each student. So for example, assume that this is the Venkat is the person. He is from which location, means I can say, you can say location also, like location. So this person is from like Telangana, like let's say Telangana. And we have one more person who is called Ravi. Assume that he is from AP, Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Now let's save the data. So we have the data in the Excel file in two sheets, sheet one and in sheet. Okay. Now I'll go to my Tableau here. See, once you install the Tableau desktop in your local system, right, you can simply open this Tableau desktop, simply typing Tableau in the search bar. Okay, let's open the Tableau desktop. Just click on the Tableau desktop. So whenever possible, right, I will try to take a different set of data. Like for this example, I have taken student data. In future, if I try to for other requirement, right, I will be taking some other sales data like that. Okay.
Yeah.
It is asking for trial version. That's it. Okay. Okay. So I have already installed my Tableau desktop. So let's open new file. Or you can directly go to the desktop where you have installed the desktop, right? Simply double click on that actually. Okay. It will open. Okay. So initially, when you open your Tableau desktop, right? So this is the page you can see. So this is the page where I can connect to my data. So from this page, I can connect to the data. So I have my data in my Excel file, right? So I can simply click on my Microsoft Excel. If you have data in the CSV file, right? Then we have to click on the text file here. Okay. If you have your data in the databases like MySQL, BigQuery, PostgreSQL, if you click on this more option, right? You can see all these are the databases we can connect from Tableau actually. Okay. Okay. So I have my data in my Excel file. So I simply click on the Microsoft Excel here. So navigate to the location where you saved your Excel file. So I'm just going to the desktop here. Simply click on this Excel file. Now once you see this Excel file name here, right? Simply click on open option. Now you see. So from this Tableau, I have connected to my Microsoft Excel. So how to identify that which data source you have connected? So you can see once you connect, right, you can see Microsoft Excel here. And this is the file name you can see here. Under connections, you can see Microsoft Excel, and I can see the file Excel file name here. And just below, you can see sheets here. And in the sheets, in the Microsoft Excel, we have two sheets, right? Sheet 1 and sheet 2. In sheet 1, we have some different data. In the sheet 2, we have some different data. But I want to analyze the data which is existing in the sheet 1. So what I will do, I'll simply drag my sheet 1 into this area here. So where you see this drag tables here. Okay. So just simply drag your sheet 1 here. Now you see, now what the Tableau is saying is whatever the data we have in the sheet 1, Tableau will show all the data here. Okay. So this is called non-aggregated data, disaggregated data, or mainly I want to particularly emphasize on row level data. So this is called row level data. Why it is called row level data? You see, for example, if I go for my Excel file, you see Venkat is appearing in the how many rows? Venkat is appearing in the 3 rows actually. Why this person is in 3 rows actually? Because the first row is describing about how many marks he got in the Telugu subject. The second row is displaying about how many marks he got in the English subject. Like that, each row is having some different amount of data. So this is called row level data. So for now only I have taken this person is appearing in the 3 rows only. But if you go to the real time data, this person may available or this person may come in 1 lakh records, 2 lakh rows, 3 lakh rows also. If you take Ravi, this person is appearing in 2 rows only for now. Each row is having different amount of different data. First row is about Telugu subject, second row is about English subject. So each row is having different set of data actually. So this is because we called whatever the data we are getting from the databases is called a row level data. Just trying to repeat one more time. Venkat is the person who is repeating in the 3 rows. So this is a row level data, or this is called disaggregated data. Row level data, disaggregated data. Now, what is the need of aggregating this data, and what is the need of analyzing this data actually? What is the need of analyzing this disaggregated data or row level data? Simple. I'll just simply tell you one requirement here. From that, from this requirement, we can understand why we have to aggregate the data or why we have to analyze the data. Okay, I have my HOD or I have my parents, and my parents are asking that Venkat, or my HOD is asking that Venkat, what is your total marks? So my HOD is not interested, or my faculty is not interested in each subject marks. He is interested in overall marks actually. He is not interested in each individual row data. He is interested in overall data, that is aggregated data. So when my HOD asks that Venkat, what is your total marks? I'll simply say Venkat, and I'll simply say here Venkat is in the three rows, right? So I'll say simply select these three rows marks here. And when I do the summation of all these three rows, right? What is the total marks I can say here is 210 actually. So I will say my HOD that uh, my total marks are 210 here. And I'll simply go to Ravi, also do the same thing actually. Ravi won't go for the individual data. He'll simply, as the Ravi is appearing in the two rows here, what he will do is he'll try to do the summation of these two, 50 plus 35, which is a 85. So Ravi simply say, I got my total marks in the 10th class is 85. And I will say to the my HOD that my total marks are 210 here. Now this is called aggregated data. This is called aggregated data. Now, what is the meaning of aggregation here? Means Venkat is appearing in three rows here, but I am aggregating this person to a single row using Tableau. So we'll do all these type of aggregations or analysis using Tableau tool only. We don't do this in Excel. I'm just, for the purpose only, I'm showing it here. What is the requirement? And I am aggregating this all these three rows into a single row. What is the meaning of aggregation? First of all, means we are making all these aggregations into a single row. Representing multiple rows into a single row is called aggregation. Representing multiple rows into a single row is called aggregation. In the databases, Venkat is appearing in three rows. I am aggregating this person into a single row. And I am in the similar way, I am aggregating these marks into a single row using what I'm doing to represent these all these marks into a single row. What I'm doing here is I am simply doing the summation here. I'm just simply doing the summation of 70 plus 60 plus 80, which is summing up to 210. So by using the summation, I'm aggregating these multiple rows into a single row. So in real time, I can use sum function, I can use summation, I can use min function, we have max function. Like that, we have so many functions in Tableau. So using these functions, we can aggregate the data. Okay. So what is the meaning of aggregation? Means uh, combining multiple rows into a single row is called aggregation. And we can achieve this aggregation like doing the summation 70 plus 60 plus 80. Using the summation, I can do using the summation, I can represent multiple rows into a single row, which is called aggregation. So this is nothing but aggregated data. For Ravi, what is the aggregated data? 85. For Venkat, what is the aggregated data? 210 here. Okay. So let's see how to. So I told you after aggregation, we can analyze the data. I don't analyze the data. Assume that my HOD is analyzing the data. So what is his analysis is total marks for this person is 210. So he is analyzing the overall data actually. He is not interested in the row level data. He is interested in the aggregated data only. So for example, only I am taking here marks here. Assume that this is a sales here. I can say what is the total sales here like that. Okay. So I'm just deleting this data. Now go to the Tableau here. Now you see, once you connect to the sheet one, once you connect to the Excel data from Tableau here, right? Once you drag the table here, in this page, I can see the row level data only. You see, Venkat is appearing in the three rows. Ravi is appearing in the two rows. So this is within Tableau. Once you drag the sheet one into the Tableau here, it will show the row level data here. Okay. Now what I will do, if I want to aggregate this data, right? Or if I want to analyze this data, what I can do is, once you drag the sheet here, now simply click on this sheet one. So this sheet one is different from the sheet which is in the Excel file. So what is the Tableau is doing here is, uh, Tableau is designed Tableau tool is designed in such a way that which is similar to the Excel file. In Excel file, we are seeing sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 like that, right? In Excel, in Tableau also, we can see sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 like that. But initially, it will show the sheet 1 only here. Now, what I do here is simply click on this sheet 1 here. Now, I'll go to this page here. So, this is a Tableau page where this is a Tableau front end, like where we can aggregate the data. Like see on the left side, I can see to the which sheet I have connected, right? I have connected to sheet 1. So I can see here sheet 1 here, and here I can see the data. So you see Tableau is here. Tableau is not showing the entire data here. Tableau is simply showing the column names only. Student name, subject, marks only it is showing. You see, if I go for if I go for Excel, right? If I go for Excel here, what is the all these are column names. This is the first column, this is the second column, this is the third column, right? So when we go to the Tableau sheet, that initially on the left side, I can see only column names only I can see. Student name, subject, marks only I can see. I don't see all this data. Okay. You see, if I go to Tableau, I can see the column names only here. But what if I want to do? What if I want to aggregate the data? Very simple. If you want to see the data, right? Simply, what is the requirement? My requirement, I want to see the student wise total marks here. Okay. So what I will do, first I will drag my marks into the text here. Now you see Tableau will display the total marks here. How the Tableau is displaying total marks here means, you see from the database, I am getting the marks column, and whenever you drag this into text here, you see what the Tableau is doing. Tableau is automatically using sum function here. Tableau is automatically doing the summation of all the rows, and it is giving the result is 295 here. Sorry, I'm going bit slow here. Why? Because all these are fundamentals we have to understand. If I go bit fast, right, it will be okay for this class. But if you go in the later classes, you don't understand why what the Tableau is doing. So because of that reason, I'm just going bit slow here. Once we understand the concepts and all those, we'll go bit fast. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the actual column we are getting from the database where I don't see any sum function or summation here. Whenever you drag this into the text, then only I can see sum of marks here. What is the meaning of sum of marks? Means in the marks column, I have different rows. By doing the summation of all these rows, I'm getting 295. Okay, but this is not my requirement. I don't want total marks here. I want student wise marks. So next what I will do, I'll drag my student name into the row shelf, or I can drag into the column shelf also. You see, when you drag the student name into the row shelf, I can see each student in a separate row. Ravi is in the first row, Venkat is in the second row, like that. If you drag the same student name into the column shelf, I can see each person in the column wise, like that. Okay. Now you see, for Ravi, the total marks is 85. For Venkat, the total marks is 210. Okay, so this is how we build a sheets actually. So once we build the sheets, right, then after that we build the dashboards. Once we build the dashboards, we'll publish these dashboards to the Tableau server from the Tableau desktop itself. We have designed the we have created these sheets within the Tableau desktop only, right? So I can simply go to this server option. So this is available in the Tableau desktop only. I simply go to this server option, and simply I will publish this dashboard into the Tableau server. So when I simply click on the publish, right, what the Tableau will do is Tableau will ask you for the Tableau server link actually. For example, if I take SBI Bank, right? So SBI Bank may use uh, tableau.sbi.com. So this is the server for the SBI Bank. I'm just telling you an example only. This is not the exact server for the SBI. So how will come to know what is the server name for your particular client is? They will provide you. No need to bother about. They will provide you all this. So I simply paste my link here. I'll simply connect to that server. Once I connect to that server, right, there will be an option called publish. So I can simply click on that button, and in that way, I'll publish my dashboard to the Tableau server. So once I publish to the Tableau server, right, So users can log into the server and they can access the workbooks and dashboards. Okay, now let me go in bit detail here. Okay, so I'll show this dashboard to my HOD. So where my HOD say, okay, Venkat, you are getting these marks. Assume that my HOD is accessing this dashboard from the Tableau server. I just assume that my HOD is accessing this dashboard from the Tableau server. Now, for each and every request, for everything, he will not reach to me actually. If he has any questions, right, then he will come to the developer and he will ask those questions to the developer. Okay. Now here I am showing my overall marks for this Venkat actually. Now my HOD is interested in next question. The HOD next requirement is he can see the aggregated data here, total data here, summation of the total marks here. But later point of time, my parents or my HOD is interested in what is the individual marks for this Venkat in each subject. My HOD is interested in subject wise marks also. Then I'll tell my HOD that, okay, you simply click on the Venkat and a window will be opened here. You can simply go to this dotted lines, simply click on that dotted lines. A one more window will be opened here. In this, you can see two buttons here, summarize button and full data here. Summarize button means whatever you can see in the sheet here, you can see the same thing here. And if you want to see the subject wise data, you can simply click on the full data option here. In this full data option, I can see the row level data. So this is what users can access the row level data from the Tableau itself. For example, if the user want to access the row level data, he cannot go to every time database, right? He cannot go to every time database. So because of that reason, what is the Tableau is doing here is Tableau is providing one option here within the Tableau. So if the user want to see the row level data, no need to go for the database. Within the Tableau only, he can access the row level data also by simply clicking on this full data option. But you may ask that here you can see the student name and this student is repeating in the 3 rows, right? If you want to confirm that, you can go to the database here. You see Venkat is repeating in the 3 rows, 70, 60, 80, 70, 60, 80. But my user is interested in that this marks he is getting in which subject. I'll tell that person, if you want to see that information, click on the show fields here, simply check this subject here. Now you can see the subject column also here. And if you want to download the data, simply click on the download option. Like that, I will tell, like that, all these are the functionalities which are supported by the Tableau. If the user is interested in this downloading the row level data, we can inform this about these options to them. We have to educate the user about all these options. Okay, but initially we have to design these sheets here. Okay, my HOD is not interested in seeing the row level data in this manner. He is asking me to create one more sheet here, which will display the student wise, subject wise marks. Okay, I'll simply drag the student name here, simply drag the marks into the text here. Now I'll drag my subject into either row shelf or column shelf. Now you see, my user can simply see for Ravi in English 35, Hindi he did not write that exam, in Telugu he got 50 marks. Okay, Venkat in the English he can see got like that. Whatever the requirement we get from the user, right? We'll try to uh, we'll try to develop all those requirements in by sheet. In sheet one, I have developed this requirement. In sheet two, I am developing this requirement, like that. Okay. Finally, we design a dashboards actually. If you want to create new sheets, right, you can simply click on this first symbol. If you want to create a dashboards in Tableau, right, so this is the symbol. Using this symbol, we can create a dashboards in real time. 100% of the time we are creating dashboards here. What is the need of creating dashboards? I created sheet 1, I created sheet 2 also. And what is the need of creating dashboards here? One more again. So for now, simply click on the middle symbol, which will create a new dashboard. In the new dashboard, what I will do is, when I click on the new dashboard, Tableau is I can see this interface here. In this interface, I can see a lot of options in the left side and like that. But one more important option here I can see here is sheets. Till now, what are the sheets you have created, like sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4? all those sheets you can see on the left side here. Now what I will do simply, I'll simply drag my sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. I'll simply drag my sheet 1 here into the dashboard. I'll simply drag my sheet 2 into the dashboard. So what is the need of creating dashboard mean? If you create sheets only, right, then my HOD need to go through each and every sheet. He has to click on the sheet 1, he has to click on the sheet 2, he need to click on the sheet 3, sheet 4, like that. He need to go through the each and every sheet. But to avoid that thing, right, we will design a dashboard in the Tableau. In the Tableau dashboard, right, whatever the sheets we have developed, created, right, I will put all those sheets together so that my HOD will come to this dashboard directly, and you can see all the sheets in a single place. You can see all the sheets in a single place only. So this is the reason we'll create a dashboards in real time. Not only this thing, I can format these sheets also. For example, my HOD is not interested in this sheet to coloring. But what I will do, I'll simply click on this sheet to, I'll go to my layout option. I'll provide some background color here, like that. Okay. So, uh, so for the best look and feel, right? I'm simply saying here, look and feel of the dashboard. For for good look and feel, we'll design a dashboard. So I'll put what is an, they will ask you simply simple question in the in the interviews. What is the need of designing dashboards in the Tableau? I'll simply say I'll create sheets. So the HOD or the user cannot go through all the sheets one time. Simply, you cannot go through all the sheets. So what I will do, I'll create a dashboard. In the dashboard, I'll put all the sheets together in a dashboard. So the user directly come to the dashboard, and he can at a time he can see all the sheets, like that. And if you want to, I can, in the dashboard, I have more options. So I can add colors, font, and all those. I can design the dashboard very well, which is required by the client. I can set in that manner. Okay. So and I'm just going to the our website here. Like, so I simply want to show all these things, whatever we have discussed, right? So I simply try to discuss
I
those
have
things in a simple diagram. Yeah, tell me.
one question. Can so we will update sheets to the Tableau server or only dashboards?
Only
The
dashboards
final
only.
dashboard
Only
only.
dashboards only. See, for example, assume that we have data in the just let me say, I have the data in the sheet 1 and sheet 2 only, right?
Hmm.
Sheet 1 I have some data, and sheet 2 I have some data. I put these two sheets in a dashboard, right? Now what I can do is I simply right click on the dashboard. I'll simply click on the hide all sheets. Now you see all the sheets are hidden here actually.
Okay.
So once I place my sheets in the dashboard, there is no need to show these sheets to the user actually. Why? Because he can see the sheets in the dashboard itself.
Okay.
So I'll hide my sheets and I'll publish this dashboard to the server. So
And one more
yeah, you
question
can
in
ask. Yeah.
sheets. Uh, can you go back to the sheets? So he, sheet one, no, to the sheets option.
Okay. I can simply click on the sheet here. I can simply click on this button. It will take to the sheet.
So here there are text, size, color. You dragged marks to the text and student name to the rows and the other things on the columns. How do like why did you only drag marks to the text column?
See, for example, if the user is interested in the creating, he is interested in text table, right? So I'll get simply drag this marks to the text here. But the user is not interested in, he is interested in the bar chart. So I'll simply drag my marks into the column shelf. It will automatically create a bar chart here. Then he is not interested in the bar chart. He is interested in the pie chart. I'll simply go to show me option. I'll simply click on the pie chart. He is interested in the line chart. So line chart is not enabled in the show me option. So we have some other options are there to generate line charts and what are the chart we are interested in. So once you do any changes in the sheet, right? Then if I go to the dashboard, those changes will be automatically reflected in the dashboard.
Okay.
So you can ask any question like, but we'll discuss bit detail by, like in the next class, right? We'll try to see like what is a marks card and all those. We'll see one by one, class two, class three, like that. But for this class, if you want to uh, so for example, mainly we have Tableau architecture. This is not exactly the Tableau architecture actually. So this is a data flow. See, we have Tableau desktop here, and we have next we have Tableau server. Once you design dashboards, right, you can publish those dashboards into the Tableau server, and users across from the world can log into this server and they can access the dashboards here. But to design a dashboard using Tableau desktop, right, we should have the data. We already discussed that we have the data in the databases. So
Okay.
from Tableau, we can connect to this database and we'll get this data into the Tableau and we'll design a dashboard. Dashboard is sometimes called workbooks also in Tableau terms. Okay, like that. And how we get the data into these databases. In real time, we will be having database people also there. There will be one team which is called database team. So we have different sources will be there in the real time. So what the database people or ETL people will be there. ETL. So we have a separate team, ETL team or database team. What these people will do is from the different sources, they will dump the data into the databases. This is not our job actually. This is
Okay.
not the it is not our job. We have separate database team will be there. They will dump the data from different sources into this database using ETL tools. So here I want to say one more thing. So we have different ETL tools are there. Most widely used in ETL tools are Informatica. So from this Informatica, we will be connecting to this source one, source what you see, right? We can connect this source one, source two, and source three, and they'll dump the data into databases. So we have source one, source two, like that, right? So we can connect to all these sources from the Informatica tool, and we'll finally dump the data into the databases. And we have uh, one more tools also, like we have Avinishu. Avinishu is one of the ETL tool. All these are the ETL tools actually. So we have Abhinishu tool and we have a data IQ. And if you take Microsoft, right, we have SS, RS, sorry, RS, not IS. And recently we have tools like Denodo. So Denodo is also one of the type of like ETL tool only, not completely ETL tool. Like we can do whatever we can do with these ETL tools, right? We can do that with the help of Denodo tools, Denodo tool also. And we have some snowflakes also. And Snowflake is coming under a database. Okay, all these are ETL tools actually. Okay, so this is the flow diagram, like actually. So any questions like so final thing I want to say here is like by default, whatever the field we drag into the row shelf, column shelf, or any sheet, right, that is automatically aggregated data. So in this way, once you aggregate the data, we can analyze the data also with later point of time. So any questions you have, like we'll try to cover more things tomorrow.
No questions for me.
Okay. So we can, if you want, like you can go to this our website tool here, and you can simply go to Tableau introduction. And if you want to download the tools, right, go to Tableau basics here, and we have here the revision history is there. So in Tableau also we will have different versions. For example, initially Tableau is latest version we are using in the Tableau is this version. Before this we have this version, like that. In the each version they are introducing new features. Mm, okay. So you can see the revision history and what are the features they have introduced here. I just noted here important things only here. And in the market, if you go in the market, right, you can see what are the other BI tools. So Tableau is coming under either reporting tool or it is called business intelligence tools also. So when I say BI tool or reporting tool means Tableau is one of the BI tool or reporting tool. Like Tableau, you have Excel, Microsoft, MS BI, Power BI, ClickView, ClickSense, Oracle. Like that, you have all these tools, Oracle and all those. You can see all these tools here, and you can come to this Tableau tools here, and you can come to download tools, and you can simply click on this button, which will download the Tableau tool. Similarly, you can download Python, you can download a MySQL workbench also. We'll see, but one by one later. But immediately, you want to download this tool, right? So initially, you can come to this. You can simply type this URL, and you can come to Tableau Basics and download tools, and you can download it actually. Okay. We'll see other things in tomorrow class. Any questions?
No,
Okay. Thanks for your time today. We'll meet tomorrow if
I'll reach
possible.
back to you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.